Whiskey Jason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American in Germany, here tasting rare and exotic whiskeys. I'm not sure how rare this is. This is the Glen Scotia 10, the Campbeltown Malt Festival 2021 release. Yay! No Campbeltown Festival. COVID. So last year, 2020, there was no festival, but still the release, and this year as well. Thank you for doing that for us. So this was actually matured, first of all, for about 9 years in first fill bourbon casks. Then it received a finish for 5 months, approximately, in first fill Bordeaux red wine cask from the Medoc area in France. And then, which I read on the back here, it says here, the spirit was married into refilled bourbon barrels before bottling at cask strength. So this is a triple cask release, which no one actually mentions. All right, so first of all, the elephant in the room for me is the color of the box. Red. Why red? Well, guess who bought the company? Chinese. And so the Chinese love the red. Red is a happy color, is a lucky color. And so, therefore, as many things as possible, see the new rebranding again of Ben Romach will be red. So be prepared to have a lot of red whiskey out there, or at least red packaging. But I must admit, and now I'm going to stop being sarcastic, I like this. If you take a look here, you have, of course, the Glen Scotia, and you realize that this is actually the port of Campbeltown. Maybe it's one of those copper paintings, drawings, whatever it was, made way back when, of that historical region of that area. So 56.1%. Now I'm going to do a tiny little bit of backlogging to tell you something about this whiskey. The very, very first Campbeltown Malt Festival release was in 2018. It was a Ruby port release with 2,400 bottles. If you go to a festival, 2,400 bottles, more than enough. Then 2019, they realized, hey, everyone wanted this, not just the people at the festival. They did a rum release, and there was 9,500 bottles, at least according to Whiskey Base. Last year, the Tawny port release had 15,000. So we went from 2,400 to 9,500, so we over tripled, almost quadrupled there, and then you almost doubled. And so I hope and I think what they did is they didn't stop with 20,000 bottles, they went to 30,000 bottles. Why do I say that? Well, first of all, my importer here in Germany, I actually bought 2 cases of this, and I resold some to my super fans, and I shared 2 bottles with my other fans. They actually had no problem whatsoever delivering 2 cases of whiskey of this to me. Now, at the moment, anytime I go to one of my different wholesalers and say, hey, I would like to have 12 bottles, it's like, I'm sorry, it's now limited, it's allocated, you will get 2. And so I've basically done this strategy at the beginning. I asked for 2, I got 0. I asked for 6, I got 1. If I asked for 12, I get 2. And so I went, okay, I'm going to ask for 12. Well, I got all 12. No problem. I resold them and everything's okay. I have a license to sell whiskey online and so on, at least here in Germany. Excuse me. And so even today, now, weeks after it originally appeared, it's still available. Other whiskeys like this that have been very limited to under 10,000 bottles, and maybe only 10% come to Germany, so it might be only 1,000 bottles. They're like a little puddle of water in the Texas sun. They evaporate within minutes. And so this has not evaporated, so I assume there are more bottles out there than originally thought of. And you look at the prices, actually the original price should have been around 64 euros. And then suddenly people were putting it on sale for 55 euros. And it's like, wait, it just came out yesterday and you're still already putting it on sale? And other people still have the bottles at 70 euros because they have the theory of, oh, it's limited, and I'm going to then sell it for 20 euros more than the recommended retail price. And then they just wait until the other shops are sold out. The only one left are the higher price ones. They go to them and they make their money. And so you actually in Germany have bottles that are somewhere between 50 and 80 euros on online shops at the moment. Crazy, huh? But you're not here to hear about the online shop price development in Germany. You're here to know about the whiskey. So welcome. All right, over here on the nose. Oh, I really, really like this nose. I get a lot of vanilla. I get like a vanilla pudding with hot, sweet cherries on top of it. That wine, that Bordeaux wine, really kicks into a nice berry fruit note there. Really, really like the nose here. It is 56.1%, and on the back of the box and even on the bottle it says natural color, non-chilled filter, cask strength, and a price of about 55 euros, 10 years, age statement included. Hey, everything's there that we need. I must admit, Glen Scotia, you're doing something right here, and many, many people like it. Now, there's only one little tiny problem I had here. I don't know if you can see this. This is the signature of the master distiller. Now, I'm somewhat versed in the world of whiskeys. I looked at it, I was like, who the heck is that? So I actually had to go online and I Googled master distiller, and I found out that it's the master distiller, and the distillery manager is no one other than the former engineer named Ian McAllister. He has been the esteemed distillery manager for 12 years now, and he was born and bred in Campbeltown. And Ian is fiercely proud of the place, its people, and its rich whiskey history. So he was the guy that actually distilled this, but if you read the back of the box again, you do find out that his name is not mentioned, but rather the master blender. Michael Henry was the person who created this whiskey. He was the person who took those first fill bourbon barrels, put them all together, then put them into the red wine casks, and then let them vatted them in together, and then refilled them according to the box here into the refilled bourbon barrels to finally be then bottled at 2010 vintage. Sorry. All right, so 10-year-old. Very, very interesting thing that I think that is, I like this a lot. I like the 56.1%. I like the bottle, the fine whiskey. You can see the imprint here, well done. I like the bottle design. I like the red color. Everything about this whiskey is so far very, very high level. This should be a B whiskey. Now, let's try it. Slanche to your health. There's a lot of bitterness going on there, especially towards the end. Some tannins, light sourness, and light bitterness. And it distracts, at least me, from the general quality of this whiskey. The 56.1% are a little bit too strong for me. I'm a little bit weak. I'm not the best cask strength drinker in the world. Add a little bit of water, bring it down to like 48%. And let's see what happens here. Now, there's a lot of the berries. There's a little bit of a coastal salty type of moment. There's a little bit of tobacco, but it's actually not the rich, great cigar tobacco. It's more like cheap cigarette tobacco. There's a little bit of grassiness. There's even some cloves at the end here. Lemon zest, but a lot of red berries are in here. It's a good at the beginning, and then that bitterness kicks in towards the end. Not my perfect cup of tea here. I don't know what happened, but that's that. Cheers. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I do like it with a little bit of water better, but yet it just kind of postponed that bitterness towards the end. I am not a great fan of the bitterness. Um, I really wanted to love this whiskey. I like this whiskey. Um, that red wine influence is almost perfectly done. If the end had actually promised what the middle palate and the beginning had actually given, this would have been a B whiskey. This is a C plus whiskey in my opinion. Value for money, 55 euros, C whiskey. This is something you should take, you should try. I personally preferred, and I don't have any more left, the Tony port from last year. I tried the rum port the year before. Very little sample I had of that. Also very, very interesting. I think one of the two of those was actually peated, and the very first festival release in 2018, not a chance. Haven't seen it, haven't heard of it, haven't even had the, no one's offered it to me yet, and no one needs to offer it to me. Is this a whiskey for the summer? Yes. Is it going to be my summer whiskey? No. Um, it has more of a fall moment to it, to be honest. A little bit like foliage, a little bit of leaves falling down and so on. I was thinking if there was sulfur. No, I don't get any sulfur at least. Um, ah, ooh, is that what's? Wait a second. I hope not. I hope not. So a little bit of water. Red wine. Pink. I do the color here. The red color is actually what I nose here. That's very very well done, gentlemen or ladies or whoever did it. No, I'm not getting any sulfur. I think I'm getting it, but I'm not. I don't think so. This is a whiskey you can try and you can try and you can try, and I think you're gonna like it. I think you're not going to be disappointed with it. But if you're really, really looking for something that is perfect and perfectly balanced, you're going to have to go maybe someplace else. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right, I'm going to try this blind sometime. I'm going to put in a blind tasting, see what happens there. I am getting a particular, there might be a tiny little whiff of sulfur in there. I'm getting a little bit of burn, and it's just not alcohol. All right, good, interesting. So, recommended, but be careful. If you have to like the red wine, you have to like the cask strength. The price is okay. I don't know how many people are actually going to be able to find this in the States or in UK or in Australia or any place else. In the moment, the Germany market is flooded with these bottles. I can still recommend them, and I hope you like them. But beware, not a perfect whiskey. Towards the end, the finish is not something I can highly, highly recommend. All the best. Whiskey Jason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American. Please like, subscribe, tell others. Maybe even share this video if you like, and I will see you soon. Whiskey Jason, all the best. Bye-bye.